And welcome back, one and all. Game 3 was promised. Game 3 was delivered. UCD, DCU, not going to be taken apart quite so easily.
Yeah, both teams coming out with a dominant showing. HG1S, I keep talking about, but what an incredible performance he had on that Casante. He 1v4'd. Legitimately 1v4'd. If you're a top laner out there, you know whose forwards you need to review if you're an Irish fan. Now, of course, third and final game, the most important. 10 bans right below you that have been taken off the board. We talked about the Carthers. We said there were 3 bans they wanted off the board. Those 3 bans, and they've seemed to lose when they are away. And that was, of course, the Draven, the Carthers from the first game, and then the third one, Hecarim. There we go. See, this is why I keep you around.
Yeah. Listen, you have your moment in the draft, 95% of the time being able to go, all right, we're picking Ashe here, and then the Seraphine to pair up with it, and then we're going to pick Karma and Ezreal to match up again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they could play Ivern.
I mean, it works.
Like, they could play Ivern. It would be really funny to play an Ivern here, and
Is it because you've been playing Ivern in solo queue?
I have a 31% Ivern win rate right now. I
probably boosted that up to at least 25.
Up from 31 to 25.
Anyway, let's talk about draft, because our solo queue is bad. Trust me, do not play with us.
Draven, Hecarim, familiar faces. I'm thinking
Karma?
Ashe Seraphine on the other side.
Yeah.
The thing about Fearless is, if you banned it early, you probably want to keep it banned late in the series.
Now, the thing is, people like to cook, and there's nothing wrong with cooking, because you can keep the Ashe Seraphine alive, so then UCD can pick it up first, but both teams are so prevalent at playing it, it's coming off the board. And, of course, we are coming to the later part of GamerFest today, but Sandbag, we do have a few games tomorrow, as you will be hosting it.
I will indeed. On stage will be Rocket League and Counter-Strike 2. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here. You're going to be here. We're gonna
Well,
keep it
I mean,
going.
I'm here for like 30 minutes.
You're gonna be here. You're gonna make an appearance. But we have to get there first. And right now, this is DCU and UCD's last time representing their these colleges will not make an appearance tomorrow. If you're DCU, you want to assert Northside dominance, right? You want to have both games taken home with you. And if you're UCD, you want to end on the high note, right? He who laughs loudest. Try and get the last word. Absolutely for UCD.
Last word. There we go. Okay. So, of course, I have one. Now, importantly, when I'm looking at both of these teams, it's hard because you don't know what they want to pick. Because everybody, when you get this late into the draft, it's mostly somebody puts their hand up and say, yeah, sure, I guess I'll have a Corki. Or, you know what, I actually want to have this as my jungler. It's all about what they're most comfortable with. So it's those solo queue picks, maybe a Trundle jungle. I've heard a few things about Naviri, seen stuff on Talon. And this is the time to bring it out when it is that third and final game.
Yep, as the bans are going to look mighty similar to previous. Ashe, Sarah, Syndra, not Hecarim, Draven. The Aatrox that was pinched in the first game, he's going to be hovered. How do you think on that?
Now, I like if they do want to pick up the Aatrox, only because there's the flexibility to both the jungle and the top lane. And with that flexibility, you will always get a decent matchup. And if you don't, you hide it in the jungle and you don't worry about it. Now, there are a few other champions that are very good in towards the Aatrox. And the Karma, the one thing the DCU didn't ban away like they usually do, is up and available. We'll pick that up. The only thing is Karma's very strong early, but does fall off a cliff late.
And some of your favorite duos, right, the Ashe and the Ezreal, are both taken away.
Even the Caitlyn as well.
And Caitlyn as well, exactly. These big prio space-controlling AD carries that like to bully out alongside that Karma. So it's interesting to see what they're going to pair up with it.
Yeah, because I've seen stuff like Aphelios come out with the Karma because it has that extra range advantage. It's sort of like a B-Tech Caitlyn in the best way, because if you have the green gun, gives you extra range, you have as much as the Caitlyn. The others are just very good for team fights. Well, on the opposite side of DCU, they seem to have pivoted hard in towards a late-game variance. They got the Rel to combo as that big front line. Of course, you got the Rise for the late-game damage. I expect maybe an MF with the Rel if they want to, or of course they can go for something like a Kai'Sa. And with UCD, if they want to keep the range, there's no reason why they can't go for the Aphelios we mentioned, or even that Xayah to make it hard for that Rel to engage.
And it's a champion that Uct is extremely proficient on. He's been playing this since release. He's been playing this champion since it could jungle.
Yeah.
It's something he could play with half a hand tied behind his back.
Ooh.
He's going to be very comfortable on that. The Annie on the opposite side.
I like it.
UCD are looking for snap engage, and Flash Tibbers gets that job.
I mentioned the theory, an incredible pick with, of course, Annie, meaning you're able to find the reset with the ultimate and you just kill everybody back to back to back. Now, Annie into the Ryze matchup, you do actually get pushed in the early game, but Ryze is such a short-range burst mage in the mid lane. You just press tippers on them and either they're going to die or they're going to be so low they won't be able to play these team fights. However, Annie doesn't have any major escape tools, so if Rail gets on top of him, it's rather difficult to do so. As UCD will be picking up their AD carry instead, making me think they want to hide their jungle pick for a super unique one like the Talon.
Yep, looking for maybe something more volatile. You
Definitely.
can't just blind it. You can't just say, a blue on me J4, and it does not matter what's on the other side. I'm going to get some value. Sivir, Annie is that. Sivir will just right-click the person in front of them, will get value.
Yeah, and DCU's comp is very short range. They've got the Ryze who's short and the Corki. Of course, Corki does have the Valkyrie to get out to safety, but this means that UCD could actually pick up a champion like Trundle if they wanted to in this position, because you've got the Karma speed up with the Sivir and absolutely run down the enemies. Even something like a Warwick, which is very spicy, but there's an opportunity here as DCU will fully agree with us and bat away those junglers. Sejuani, of course, an amazing pairing up with the team, being that major tank frontline, maybe Skarner as well could be a possibility, while UCD, maybe they want to pick up the Silas as they've already taken away that Malphite.
Exactly. Every time you see the Malphite ban, Silas is not far behind, and these jungles start to trickle on through. It is likely to be that Aatrox. So again, effectively 2 birds, 1 stone. A top and a jungle ban rolled into one.
Yeah, and UCD are trying to opt themselves into a good jungle matchup. The main reason I think this is because of the priority they have in the bot lane. They got the Sivir and Karma who can always move for the support. And I want to take your heads back towards that first game. UCD was able to win out because their prior in bot lane went for the invade, able to absolutely bully out Luck, who just came up from, of course, their B team.
And the smile is because the Shen was something they talked about late in the draft. That was something that DCU were saying. We didn't want to leak on stream. That was something they wanted to pick. They have done their scouting. It's like, pick me Saya, pick me Mundo, pick me Shen. And they understand the situation, gets the ban out. Now what's left in the tank?
Exactly. I was about to say that. You said 3 champions. 2 of them have been picked. 1 of them's been banned away. They have nothing on the board that he's majorly happy with, as we will be having the Volibear locked in. A contentious pick from me, because of course it needs to get on towards the back line, and you're against a Sivir who has a spell shield, and Annie who has a Tibbers to get out to safety, and you also have a boatload of movement speed. So we're going to have to see if this Volibear is flexible from the jungle to top lane, because when I'm thinking about a top laner, Jost can actually play it.
The question is it going to be the comp, not only for the comp itself in a vacuum, but also for piloting? If you're 6-5s, game 1 was to suffer, neutralize, succeed. Game 2, he kind of only did step 1. So...
Okay. wait. Sandbag, you got so excited for that play. We have a Garen!
Garen and Maokai to round out this comp, and...
It's guaranteed fun.
Guaranteed fun.
See, you know, it's better on online. Because then if nobody laughs, then it doesn't make me feel so bad. But now I can just feel the dead silence.
You can hear. I think
you can hear like 3 second delay.
People just stood up and
they just walked out.
I think my bus might be coming. I might have to. Okay. Pantheon. This comp is one of the most melee comps you can create with a Corki, right? You have Volley, Pantheon, 2 ranged champions who really want to be playing in that close range, and a Rel. This is aggression.
100%. And if the Rail is able to find that big snap engage with the Pantheon who can ult into the back lines, of course, the Volibear who does well in towards a lot of the enemy champions. But for me, I think UCD. I think UCD just have it. You win against the Volibear 1 versus 1 once you get that level 6. As Volibear's big thing is, I'm a burst you and I'm a heal back up. The only problem is you need to be low to get a decent amount of healing. And what does Garen like? He likes somebody low because he brings down Demacia and you are just dead. Now, of course, there's compositions with the Sivir in the late game who can dominate. Compared to the opposite side, the Ryze and the Corki, yes, they deal a lot of damage, but how are they ever meant to play against the Annie? Just so far, if they don't find a huge lead, I think UCD just run away with it.
I'm going to throw something out here. Do you swap this Volibear elsewhere? Is that something that's worth doing?
I mean, you can. It has possibilities of finding gank, but there's a reason why you don't see Volibear so much in the jungle, is there's a lot of ways that you could just run away. And when you have an Annie, when you have a Sivir and a Karma, it's difficult, but guess what? It's better to play a top lane.
We have a little bit behind the scenes information. There might be a reason why you don't put Volibear in the jungle, but DCU have not heard that reason. They are getting a cozy Volibear jungle.
Okay, Volibear wins out against the Maokai, can actually go for a gank with the CC from the Rise. Bot lane, if Rel finds an engage, there's answers. There's possibilities, but they are hard. Now let's quickly talk about the top lane, HE1S. We mentioned him a lot beforehand, is on that Garen with the Ignite. The Pantheon matchup is very difficult early. Pantheon pokes you out with Q, has the W to stun you, and of course has the E to stop the ultimate if he ever is able to play it properly. Now we are going to be having a quick pause, just making sure that everything is all right for that. But when I'm thinking about the Garen though, he needs to survive early, and HE1S has only had these very positive and aggressive lanes. Is he going to be able to hold off for enough time to be able to scale to that late game?
Or
he just wins.
I was going to say, is he going to be able to get the mechanical outplay if he's able to get away from... If you know your numbers on Garen and you get that all in off, combat sum on one side can be the difference, right? If you are able to slip, say you flash a Comet Spear, or you're able to just find a full send, get the last auto attack as it's a fadeaway, that can be a way to swing that matchup because, as you say, Pantheon, he's going to stand approximately spear distance away and just gently poke him away. Just jab him repeatedly. Just stay approximately one spear away. Thank you.
Because it does kind of feel like it's about the armor you have as a Pantheon. It's either if you've got like a chain vest, it can do pretty well. If you've got some like cloth armor, you're just going to get destroyed. So plenty of different outplay potentials towards the top side. I did actually wish we got the Ignite though from the Pantheon. Because in this matchup, you do want to find an early game lead. Otherwise, the Garen just kind of steamrolls you with the W, stopping a lot of that CC as it stops the cooldown from about 1 second to about half a second. And himself enough time to run you down. So with no Ignite, it feels like Joystick understands that I'm still better than you even if I don't have that Ignite.
Yeah, if he's able to continue chipping away at this one, it is unfortunately a microphone once again, who seems to be the bane of our existence for this series. So we will be getting ourselves a little bit of a tech pause. We'll update you once we have the information and with nameplates on. Because the grand scheme of things, a draft is a draft. It's all hypothetical, mysterious. Take your pick. Call your shot. 56 seconds of information has been had. Who do you think?
I still think UCD are able to win it. The only way I see DCU beating it is if they're able to find a lead towards any of these lanes. Priority for the side of UCD will 100% happen towards his bot side. You see the W starting from, of course, the Sivir. Got those boomerangs available. As we actually see a counter jungle, a really well-played idea from the Volibears. He's very quick.
Early combat spell is the difference. You're all in, the one with the Ignite and first blood going over to Garen. That's one way to turn a lane.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I mentioned beforehand is you need that major summoner spell advantage. But Garen just hiding in that bush, showing dominance in that early game. And once ever Garen finds a lead, he's not stopping.
You are supposed to be the one with the early edge. You are supposed to be the one who is able to keep you at spear distance at all times.
That was not spear distance.
Garen has twice as many spears. Granted, they're a little on the stubby side, as the Pantheon currently possesses with a pair of daggers. It's going to be all in the mid lanes. The Electrocute's going to go off. Slime Man receiving a Q and some creep damage. The bounce of the Overload. Slime Man down to double digits. Big Cheese the same. Mana very slim.
Yeah, but take a look. Volibear hiding in this bush hasn't actually been spotted. Wins out against that Maokai.
Strike. It's going to be a two-man lock up here from the Rel as Uck able to get a big chunk out. It's going to be Luck in some trouble here as Slime Man going to reinforce his Maokai sapling in brush. A Cozy and Big Cheese with a push out mid lane.
Yeah, great CC coming out from the mid lane or Slime Man, keeping his jungler alive. But let's take a look at these camps. Volibear's able to clear his full side, clear his bot side as well, while Luck is definitely out of luck as he has no camps to take up. So he's forced to actually walk into the Volibear and try to win this 1v1. As both towards the bot side, you see just constant aggression.
Dashing forward, it's going to be an early exhaust as the berry and the hero are both going to be spent. Here's Kaisenel down the court, he's slain as here comes the lethal tempo. Oct is going to be the receiving end of a couple more boomerangs will not finish the job as top will also flash his way to safety. Rel bleeding, top lane bleeding, and the wave Zath.
Yeah, that wave is huge, as he won't be able to stop that just yet, as it feels just like UCD have woken up for this last and final game. They know how important it is as Volibear.
Potential dive, silence, tower shots will both fly here as it's one more Q away. Pantheon doesn't have the mana to throw the Comet Spear. It's going to be flashed away from Garen, slipping out from the last Q. Pantheon can't get the avenging kill. It's Eric surviving on slivers.
Now, Gavin is tanky, but he's not that tanky, as he will be hiding in his bush here trying to go for this play. Importantly, Joystick has no mana.
No mana. Pantheon down! The cheekiest of rush plays. Garen doubles up his kill lead.
Yeah, he gets himself 100 gold bounty as well. He's getting himself truly on the board. But it's not just like top lane's winning out. A kill has gone over towards the Sivir, who has picked themselves up the Cole. Of course, whenever you finish the Cole, you get an extra 350 gold, which is basically a kill's worth, something that you can never complain about. Sivir's one of those champions where you want to get towards the 3 items before you become a major thorn in the side. And when you think of Sivir, you think of late game. When you think of Corki, you think about early game. How the heck has Sivir got a kill over Corki?
It is going to be an overextension from the Rel, drawing Kaisenel in. It was the combat of the heal and the exhaust turning that one around. And Kaisenel and Oct are now going to have to get a little bit more creative, because once these boomerangs start wrecking this wave, they're going to be locked under their tower for the foreseeable.
Yeah, 1,000 gold difference for both of these teams. UCD winning out both in top and the bot lane. Fortunately, Joystick is still able to pick up a lot of that CS because, of course, that spear we aforementioned before, having a decent bit of range. As Volibear towards his bot side, trying to make a play happen, but Sivir has E, and you've got the Karma Shield making it hard.
Shattering Strike is spell shielded. Crash Down is slipped, and it's going to be some damage back the other way. Very nicely withheld. Why do you ask me? Cool as you like.
And you see how big this wave is. They're not actually able to hold it. So UCD, if they want to, can just walk in on the Volibear, stop him from doing this objective, and maybe even kill him.
Garen's going to be throwing out that Ignite once again. He doesn't have that level 6 to go for the full-on execute. The creeps do not dissuade him, is now the level 6 hit. A creep in the difference is going to be Tippers on in. DCU Big Cheese going to be chopped up on that one. Slime Man gets the ISO kill.
Yeah, and that's actually going to be because that bot lane play didn't work out. Because it didn't work out, Akosu wasn't able to do Dragon, and because of that, they were able to try and collapse on top of him, meaning that Huge Cheese had to walk down, so he got countered by Luck. And all on the back of this, UCD is able to find a lead in mid lane by finding that kill. 4-0, and 4-2 teams who are this close in the standing, getting both to the finals, being 1-1 apiece. UCD are starting to run away with this.
UCD came out the gates swinging and building themselves up a lead. Granted, this is only a couple thousand. This is only some items here and there. But leads in League compound themselves. If you have more gold, you get more gold. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. UCD want to keep that going. If you're DCU and you fast forward 10 minutes and it's still 2K, you're happy
fine.
with still 2K.
Yeah. Of course, there's a big difference between 2K early into the game compared to 2K at full items, because of course you can't spend more gold than what items you can get. Now take a look at these objectives. We do have the Dragon available. Both of these teams haven't actively gone for it, more instead looking for a gold advantage. And this makes a lot of sense as UCD know that they can outscale the enemy team. As towards the top side, you see the exact interaction of Joystick saying, please get away from me, use the W and the Q, and still somehow BG1S is able to get themselves a victory just because he's able to heal this back up because of his passive.
Yeah, and if you're 5/6s, it's all about that Garen Q. If you can get your shield up in time, no Q damage, no E damage, you can backpedal, you're happy. If you don't get that up in time, you're going to take every single one of those spell ticks because you don't have the ability to get it while you're silenced. That's the one that really matters, is the two mid laners just going to jockey back and forth. CS negligible across the board. Top lane, the only one to speak of, really.
Yeah, and HG1S winning really well on these trades. Even though they are behind, you're actually in a great pattern early into the game because you could just use your abilities or walk yourself out to safety. And with how top lane's doing well, it seems like the rest of the team as well, as DCU will be sneaking away that objective. And this is just because the volley bear of those earlier plays of going into the enemy jungle, stealing away these camps, and this is constantly what Akosi is trying to do.
It's going to be an ultimate spent here, and that Realm Warp as well, a trade of mid lane Arkeys. There's going to be a little bit more damage up at the top lane. The Silence going to go through. If you're Ryze, you just want to hang out. That's all you want to do. You want to just get towards your items. You need Roa, you need Seraphs. Just survive the onslaught.
Yeah, because of course, Seraph's Embrace gives you an extra shield whenever you go below 30% HP. For Annie, somebody who wants to burst you out, that is such a crucial item to get up. Problem is, you usually get it as your second item, so you still have another 15 minutes of the Annie completely bullying you. Moving about bullying, Akosi's about to get that.
Oh, Akosi strays too far. Can he find some sort of redemption for himself? It will simply be a disintegration. Slime Man picking up his second of the game.
And Sandbag, you feel the desperation, right? He knows he needs to find a lead, otherwise his team's just going to get outscaled. But you saw what Annie does against Ryze in the early game. You're not able to get that priority you want. Bot lane, you saw they even died against the Sivir and Karmas. They're always able to move first, able to collapse on towards the enemy jungler. And even though he has himself a 5 CS lead, that is nothing for a jungler like Volibear, because the Maokai, always going to be useful in the late game as a tank.
And with it, the lone red side lead is done, as it's going to be an E early, however, holding it very respectfully. It's going to be some more trading. The bottom, we might have to hold that thought on the stats, man, as it's going to be an ultimate potentially here. Flash R Garen combo, the classic, is able to get the solo kill topside. The lower third not in time. We might need to take another look at the lower third because there were other things to be focusing on.
Yeah, take a look. Average goal diff at 14 minutes. UCD 6.1k, DCU 0.5 for all games played. How do you think DCU got here? It was their late game team fight, and they found their ways back in, and it felt like the series and this whole entire tournament has just been that. But their team comp doesn't scale that well into the late game as UCD, and that's the concern I'm having.
It's up to this Ryze as we have that Maokai throwing out his ultimate root. Huge root here onto the mid laner. Ryze is locked down forever. It's the third of the game for the Annie. 7 unanswered. UCD have a full-on freight train going in terms of momentum.
And it's not like they didn't try. The biggest issue we had with that last comp is they didn't have enough engage. That's exactly the problem here, as Oct is an incredible rel in this bot side. But you saw exactly what happened. You got the spell shield, you got the extra movement speed, heal, flash, exhaust. There's just too much for the side of DCU to get through. And even this top lane counter pick isn't feeling like a counter pick.
Not at all. That level 1 tipping the scales so heavily. Volibear warded out elsewhere. And if you're DCU, you have to start looking towards creativity. You have to start getting a little bit offbeat and unorthodox, because right now, gold is approaching 5,000, sitting at 4K flat right now. There's going to come a point in time where your one Drake is the only thing you're clinging to.
Yeah, it's a real difficult time for the side of DCU. Fortunately, they aren't out of it just yet. Only one dragon, and it is actually picked up from DCU, and they got plenty of pick potential later into the game. Think about it. You have, of course, the ultimate from the Pantheon into the backline. Add the Ryze ult on top, but it's not looking good when your Ryze is having to flash away from Banani, who doesn't even have ultimate.
No, but he had something even better than a Tippers, and that is a Maokai. Yep. Tipper stuns you once. Maokai CCs you for somewhere in the minutes range. He's going to flash Q just short. Rel does not have the extension on Shattering Strike, and with it, Annie's escape. It's going to be up into the top lane here. Can you fight your way out of the core? Garen, 2/3 HP, does have a flash to work with, or has an ult to work with. Maybe not a flash. He's going to turn this around to 2v1. It's a kill topside. Garen says send more, and that is a bright point for UCD up in this top side. The W shield, the E is eventually going to come up short. The creep's trying to finish the job. It's 6-5's getting the avenging kill, but still a 1-for-1 at a top game.
Yeah, but they get themselves a shutdown as Kaisno now in danger. Remember, Ock not able to engage because of that spell shield.
Sivir going to be on the hunt. The spell shield that you highlighted going to prevent any more CC. A crash down away. Kaisenel still flashing, and Luck giving chase.
Yeah, GCD are doing exactly what they did in these last games, just playing around bot side, pushing them out of tower and looking for more.
Flash twisted into Vance, gonna be taxied all the way underneath the tower. Do you have the damage to get onto Kaisa now? Smited for the auto attack and does find it. Look, in a 3 versus 1, still coming away with something, and look at the creeps dying in the meantime.
Now, Sandbag, we can say that's over-aggression without any question marks, but did it look cool? Yeah, kinda. So we'll let him have a pass. You mentioned beforehand about this bot lane just getting full priority as pure huge cheese is just dead.
There ain't nothing to play-by-play. That's just an execution. As now here comes the avenging kill, and Cozy and Uck gonna be jumping in with the CC. It's a big shutdown for the big old bear. Can Cozy slip away? It's gonna be a little bit of bear versus bear, and will eventually walk it off. Tibbers can't get it done. And Cozy, a small glimmer of hope.
Yeah, barely getting themselves out to safety there, but because they pushed them all towards the top side, there's an opportunity to get themselves this dragon. First one for UCD if they decide to pick it up, as HG1S picking up a lot of these tower plates, an extra 600 gold in his pocket just from the 4 he took earlier. And when we take a look at the items, you just see the difference. Yes, the Rod of Ages from Huge Cheese is completed, but no one else has any up compared to the side of UCD, where that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. All 5 members have their first item completed.
Karma completed first item before Pantheon. That is currently the state of the game for DCU. That is the top laner income, as we might have to hold that thought. The stun going to be coming out from the Annie. Huge Cheege in retreat. It's going to be a flash force topside. Here comes the Magnet Storm. It's going to connect onto Lozy. Do they have damage out of Kaisa now? The answer is no. Here comes Big Cheese. The spell sheet for Whitey asks is going to top him nice and healthy. 4 men strong. UCD rebuff the look.
Yeah, with that bot lane already going down as top.
Top lane down, 6-5s in the dirt once again, as it's going to be a look here from the Realm Warp, and that's over ambitious to say the least. You can't park there, mate, as here comes Uck to try and provide a little bit of a backup. The ricochets come through, bouncing blades for a pair. It's a full-on 5-zip, 15-3. UCD just can't be stopped.
Yeah, they're showing why they want to be known as the esports capital of Dublin. UCD dominating this game, winning in the top side, winning in the bot lane. And Sandbag, remember, Valorant was a 2-0. DCU's doing better here, but UCD, if they win this game, are clearly going to be the better team.
They are looking to split that one, avenge their Valo team, as both teams are looking to go home with a game apiece. It's an equitable trade. DCU, though, what are your options to come back roughly 8,000 gold backwards? Split Drakes? When are you looking to find it? Because I don't think it's top lane.
Definitely not top lane. You just see the amount of damage he's dealing.
3 versus 2, and they get about a third of a health bar forward as Uck's gonna be throwing out the ignite. Here comes the damage out of the top laner. AG1S is running now for the wrong side of Summoner's Rift. Kaisa Nell's big one, able to get one back here. It's a 1-for-1 2-top trade. Luck might be a little bit too far forward as he has that twisted advance, trying to get the lock up. Kaisa Nell waiting for his Q, waiting for that phosphorus bomb. There it is, lit up. Meanwhile, on the bottom of your screen, it's going to be a quick pick onto the mid laner. Bramble smash onto 2 is forced the Valkyrie forward. It's going to be a big one for Kaisa Nell with a long extended play, but here comes Why Do You Ask Me? Do you have so much damage? That's going to be easy pickings for the marksman. Why Do You Ask Me has the answers as we look to keep it going. And Cozy on his heels. Picks off the Annie, dust settles 3 for 3.
Yeah, the biggest winner of this has to be Why'd You Ask Me. Whenever we think of UCD, we always talk about the top side, but he's had an incredible series. That Caitlyn, I believe, 9-2-1. Now he's playing on that Sivir 7-0-1 himself. An absolutely incredible series, and it was all because of that first kill, piloting in that perfectly. And honestly, if they didn't find that first kill early, there was a chance that Akosi could have invaded the enemy jungle, made life hell for Luck, but they just weren't able to do so. 19-6, UCD in the driver's seat, but HG1S might be making it even worse.
Oh no, cue the Jaws music. It's one quick kill. Garen gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens when he gets a lead.
Yeah, and it hurts as the jungler will not be staying alive for much longer.
It's a lot of sustain. Volibear's really making him work for it, but that's only pad and DPS. Volibear gonna join his mid laner on the spawn.
Yeah, AG1S will get themselves another tower play towards this bot side. 7-0, 5-2, 7-2 towards the top side. Everyone winning out on the UCD side. And we usually say the Rift Herald isn't as useful as beforehand, but in this game with a Sivir, you can definitely get a lot of work, as most likely will get placed towards that mid lane. Only 17 minutes and the gold lead is up to over 10,000.
Listen, you give me an 80 carry with a 60,000 gold lead and a 7-0 kill lead, you can give me a handful of ranged minions, and I'm getting that mid T2 kill, and they will do so rather swiftly, as now luck. Enemy jungle, in air quotes, will soon be his.
They will be looking for the mid lane though. Realm walk, but they just walked themselves out to safety yet again. We see DCU having the same trouble.
Hold that thought, Magnustorm. Maybe the one big swing that they have is going to be a 4v3 in a hurry, as Kaisnell's going to be putting the damage into the Sivir, who is down. Marksman slain, and that's a big play from Ock to observe the information. 2 kills with a lopsided fight, and so they're looking to continue to press their advantage. Lozy's got the movement speed, and Cozy's got a lot of his own. He's going to eventually be slown here. So here comes the Grand Starfall out of the Pantheon, who's looking to contribute to this game. Move speed out of the E. AG1S, Lozy in pursuit. It's going to be E backwards. It's going to be a top laner spinning to win. As here comes the triple kill out of the Garen. He can do it all. It's going to turn it around. 5 in a row. Solo lanes link up. It's 26-8.
Yeah, and he's breaking the hearts of DCU as they lose out now. Teamfight, it was perfect for Nock. There's a reason why he's played in the UKL. What a perfect engage. But the overstep means that UCD won't just be able to pick themselves up an ace. They'll be able to get themselves a bot lane tower. And of course, the inhibitor as well. And Sandbag, as a DCU fan, how are you feeling? You okay?
Listen, DCU alum, absolutely, but you have to acknowledge UCD are playing out of their minds. They can basically run the map. They have a single Drake to their name. This one's going to be theirs without any sort of a look from DCU, and they can just play this so formulaic. Push out your lanes, take your fights, walk it down. And for DCU, even what will look like a good pick play, right? They had a 4 versus 3. They got 2 kills. They ran out of juice, and Garen could press his E key.
Garen has 3 items now. Why can this man build those sort of crit attack speed items with a bit of HP? Garen, if everybody at home, he should be a tank. He should be a bruiser with maybe like a black cleaver with a little bit of AD.
80
this
carry
man builds
score.
crit.
Listen, 80 carry scoreline, 80 carry items. You're allowed to build those things when you're 10-2-2. If you're performing like that, listen, he does attack damage, and he is carrying this game. That's ADC for me.
Okay, it's hard to say because the rest of the team is doing so well to facilitate him, especially Luck, who has come in from such an awkward position. I feel like he's fitting this team perfectly, being that support, being the hand-holding his team needs to get them across the finish line as top lane.
Pantheon is exploited in a side lane. Once again, the stun will not fly as here comes a Cozy. They're trying to find their damage onto the Garen. Maybe this time sending 4. They're going to have enough. They're going to just send everybody and the kitchen sink on in. It's going to be a shutdown to the jungler. A top for Baron trade as they look to keep it going here. Grand Starfall stunning up Slime Man. They're going to try to realm warp their way on out of here. Hit the emergency exit and slip away with their prize. Heads up from the DCU mid laners. We might be looking for a little bit more into the brush. It's going to be a 2-man Magnustorm, maybe not the engage they're looking for. Why do you ask me? Untouched, the bounces fly through. It's just marksman heaven. That's going to be 2 in quick succession. Make it a 3rd. They're looking to mop up all the way through 5. Quadra kill on Sivir. Kaisnell's not going to give it to him. Walking back to base. UCD might look for the full-on send.
There might be a way to lose, but you can't be giving over a full ace at the end of that. UCD, we said Rift Out needed to be useful, and he is mightily, as they will be looking for the end here. 4 versus 1.
Kaisnell flashed on point and click. The Valkyrie and Flash expended. The lone member of DCU will be supported by his very own as the wave will slowly be chipped away at, but the Baron creeps not quite so flimsy. They may have dropped game 1. They may have dropped the first game, but they will not drop this one as they get a full-on send. Demacia is dropped. It's a double kill to the top laner. UCD coming back on in 35-12. A demolishing of DCU in this one. UCD are going to be your League of Legends champions of the 25-26 split.
What a series we had of our hands. Now, UCD may have dominated in that second game or that third, but what a series we had, Sandbag.
Absolutely. Listen, at the very top of the game, we said we're going for 3 games. These are 2 teams that are going to be tough to separate. Both of them were able to walk on through in 2-0s. Today is not going to be like that. They delivered.
Yeah.
We got our 3rd game, and maybe it doesn't end quite so, but it's still a 2-1 split.
Yeah, especially for university shooters, they should be so proud of what they've accomplished, being able to do everything at their university and still be part of this community, part of esports as a whole. I mentioned beforehand, some of them playing other leagues, just showing the level that Ireland has together. Now, of course, UCD unlucky on the loss. Oh, sorry, UCD lucky on the win. My apologies, but DCU, that must hurt.
Yeah, especially as you looked so good early on, and then felt like they were just figured out, right? Once those premium picks were taken away, we said this over the course of multiple different drafts, that Fearless was going to be the difference, and they got a little too creative, right? Volibear, not up in the top lane, but in the jungle. Pantheon, not in support, but up top lane. Your counter pick top did not get the fight he was looking for early, and with it, felt like that snowball got rolling much too quickly.
No, I'm completely with you there. There was such a huge chance to win there, but it felt like the draft never gave themselves the opportunity. And Ox, I love him. He does incredibly well on his champion, but they just didn't have the go-getting. They didn't have the champion to find that hard engage. There's a reason why we see a whole lot less of Rel than these days. But overall, we have to just talk about the winners just a little bit. AG1S. I'll keep talking about him. What a series he had. He didn't just win, he dominated. Even the game they lost, he still won top lane, right? And of course, why'd you ask me, in the bot lane, an incredible showing from him as well. You ever need a late game threat, even an early game threat, he was your man. What a way they did it.
You need a tank, you need damage. It's all brought topside. That's going to do it for us. We're going to throw this over to the main stage with Kurt, the host, and the 2 teams. Throwing over to you, Kurt. Take it away.
Yep, we're on. Thank you so much, Sandbag and Zapdos, for bringing us through that game. And congratulations here for UCD, who won it out. Of course, in Valorant, you didn't quite get there. Not you guys, but like the college. But it's great to get this. It's great to get the win here. Obviously, you lost game 1. You know, walk me through what do you think went wrong in game 1 compared to game 2 and 3, where you had a much better display here.
So game 1, we had a really low damage draft, and we kind of didn't realize it. And we obviously walked into the Mundo on 3. And then we had a little bit of a dodgy play in the jungle. Tristana lived just because of the heal and exhaust. And Wukong got really accelerated. And then we kind of just struggled in fights because we couldn't kill Wukong anymore. And then obviously game 2, we just decided to switch up the draft. We wanted more like presence in bot lane. Santa Eric decided to bestow on us his Cassante, and Noah Nivea were Teemo top today. So
yeah, it was fantastic. I think I remember Sandbag saying 200 years of gaming to bear from Cassante, which completely fair that he had a monstrous game. But you were also having a really good one. You know, that Sivir game just there, you had a really, really, fantastic time to bring it forward. Is there any kind of, in terms of the comms, is that an important piece that comes in? Is it about the energy, or is it just kind of bringing your game plan to the Rift?
yeah, I mean, it was just very good vibes. Comms were good, apart from, I remember there, someone said Maokai ult, and then I follow up, and I just get blasted by Corky, and there's no one there. But yeah, we were just really chill. No one really got tilted, so.
Yeah, well, you won it out anyways. 2-1 victory. Absolutely fantastic to see. Yeah, commiserations to DCU, though. They put up a good fight. They weren't quite able to get it there in the game. But yeah, congratulations so much. I'll let you get back to your team here. Are we getting a photo? Woo! Yeah, once again, congratulations to our winners of the League of Legends Ireland Esports Collegiate Series National Finals. We are going to present them with, their victory here. If you want to get all the players here to get yourselves some Red Bull. Once again, congratulations to everyone here for UCD. That is going to be it. Oh, yeah, always. That is going to finish us out for this day of GamerFest here on the Saturday. We will be back tomorrow, though, as well, with 2 more of our titles. We'll have Rocket League in the morning, as well as Counter-Strike 2 later on. Those ones will be both Set 2 versus TCD on the cards here. But that will be all from us here at GamerFest at the Red Bull Live stage.
Woo.